Normally, I'm editing footage after chasing new boats for Boating New Zealand's boat reviews. I thought it would be a good chance to swap the camera for a keyboard and write about my recent experience giving our yacht Aotea a midlife makeover. Aotea is the South Pacific 42 from the board of American designer Robert Perry, built in Christchurch by Canterbury Export Marine in 1987. The genesis of the yacht's design came by way of Peter Rachman, a New Zealander born in America. Peter had a rich history in finding markets for products, or probably more correctly, finding products that suited the market. From a background in the US entertainment industry, Peter moved to New Zealand in 1979, and after buying a yacht and cruising around Tonga and Fiji, he took a keen interest in our marine industry. He could see great New Zealand products that needed help getting exported. He set up a company in Seattle, SOPAC, to import and promote New Zealand products. Peter was good friends with yacht designer Robert Perry and had him draw up plans for a cruising yacht to satisfy a US market which revered New Zealand boat building skills and quality. Designed with more of an emphasis on cruising rather than the stripped out races New Zealand buyers were after, the design was a relatively light displacement vessel built using modern materials, fiberglass with a divinycell core, an engineered frame to take rig and keel loads, and a winged keel. A change in the US-New Zealand exchange rate and the onset of the 1987 share market crash saw only 3 boats leave the Christchurch factory: Aotea, Good as Gold, and Perrier. The first yacht out of the mould was Aotea, bought by a New Zealander working in Los Angeles. Aotea spent the first part of its life overseas, but was eventually sailed back to New Zealand. My wife and I bought the yacht in 2000. After a Pacific cruise to Tonga, Samoa and Fiji in 2003, Aotea has been a regular cruiser of the Hauraki Gulf and Northland coast. However, at the ripe old age of 34, her ageing gelcoat, mast and hull bottom was in need of a repaint. To save some money, I had painted the deck and cabin top myself over a few seasons, working from the bow to the stern in a grid pattern. I used International's 2-pot Perfection paint system with 2 epoxy primer coats, 2 Perfection undercoats and 2 top coats. My main memory is of the miles of masking tape required for each coat. Small areas were divided by non-skid separating lines, which reduced the visual continuity of the painted areas, so small imperfections in the finish did not greatly detract from the overall appearance. The main risk of painting outside was poor weather. I needed low wind and particularly low humidity for the final coat. However, topsides have large areas with long visual lines where any paint imperfections would show up. Time for the professionals. With the yacht berthed at Bucklands Beach Marina, the Half Moon Bay hardstand was close by and offered a full range of services for boat maintenance. First call was to Brian Kent, the manager of Boat Spray, to discuss the painting options, price, and particularly the method of removing 20 years of anti-fouling build-up. Grit blasting the bottom was decided upon. Brian said, "It's more economical for the owner than scraping, and as long as it's well controlled, a better result is achieved. It's imperative, though, to have a very experienced contractor, as a moment's inattention can cause a lot of damage." The existing epoxy layer provided a good visual cue to work to, and the finished surface was even, but with a rough texture. A follow-up sand left the bottom smooth and even. Richard Hulston from Independent Riggers removed the mast. It was time for new standing rigging and also a repaint, so Richard and his team stripped the mast, boom, spinnaker poles and vang of fittings ready for painting. Aotea was then moved into Boat Spray shed for leading hand Chris Anderson to get to work. All went according to plan, apart from a cold weather snap, which lowered temperatures and held up painting for a while. Still, there was plenty of prep required on the mast and fittings, which cut down on unproductive time. The new paint system for the topside consists of epoxy undercoats and 3 top coats of Allcraft 2000 gloss finish. With laser precision, the original blue stripe lines were reapplied, together with new letters cut out for her name. Painting of the bottom was left until last because the timing was critical. You must apply the anti-fouling straight after the new epoxy coating, and since some curing time was required before Aotea could be moved for rear launching, The bottom was painted in an outside shed. All done, and she was ready for her early morning march of completion, past the construction workers building the new hardstand facilities at Half Moon Bay. The director of boat spray, Simon Manning, was on hand to see his team's handiwork roll down the yard. She was a great sight with her new shine to show off. The newly painted mast followed a week later on a beautiful still day, with the crane costs shared among a number of boats booked that day. Everything fitted, and we returned to the marina just in time for level 4 lockdown. Overall, the makeover was a seamless experience. Getting the work completed at Half Moon Bay by boat spray, independent riggers, the boat builders doing some survey work, and Half Moon Bay Electrical for some new AGM batteries worked extremely well for us. All the trades worked in together to plan their work schedules to ensure a streamlined workflow. The facilities at Half Moon Bay are currently being upgraded with a new 85-tonne travel lift and improved hardstand arrangements. New open-sided sheds are provided to work in, a great improvement on working in the open with a roaring southwesterly wind ripping off the Tamaki estuary.
John Ecclestone from Boating New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel.